When we talk about the University of Idaho's legacy of leading, it means several things, including how well we have prepared you and how you take that education and transform the world around you. In the case of our commencement speaker today, Kristin Armstrong, she has inspired countless people around the world through her achievements. She became only the second American cyclist in history to claim an Olympic gold medal, which she earned during the 2008 Summer Olympic Games in Beijing. On the world stage, she has a total of 4 medals, putting her in exclusive company with Greg LeMond as the only other American cyclist with four World Championship medals. Kristin also models the best attribute of success through her passion to give back to communities. She is a swimming instructor and coach and a bike safety educator. In addition, because she was diagnosed at a young age with osteoarthritis, she also tries to provide support and inspiration to millions of Americans who suffer from arthritis. She has achieved much since earning her degree from the University of Idaho in 1995. It comes about through strategic focus on her part, concentrated effort, design and engineering, training and determination, and keeping an eye on her goal. And I must say that I appreciate how Kristin is quick to acknowledge the University of Idaho as part of her path to success. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker for 2010, Kristin Armstrong.
Do you have to, or do you get to? President Nellis, Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, faculty, friends, family, and of course the men and women of the day, the graduates of the great University of Idaho. When I was contemplating on what to say today, I had a flashback to my graduation day. I tried to picture the '95 graduation class commencement speaker, and it dawned on me I couldn't remember the name of the speaker or a darn word he said. In the infamous words of Jerry Seinfeld, it all sounded like yada, yada, yada. In one year and out the other. And all I knew is it was time to get out of here and go party. And this guy, he was holding me up. But you deserve better. And that's why I'm here. I'm bound and determined not to be that speaker you forget or make that speech the one you ignore. So today, I have a thought for you. Do you have to, or do you get to? 10 years from now, you may not have remembered my name or what I've accomplished in my life or most of what I've said, but if you only remember 2 things about today, let them be the question, do you have to, or do you get to? And more importantly, how you choose to answer that question. In the next several minutes, I'm going to try to convince each and every one of you to live a get-to kind of life and leave the have-tos to someone else. I'm sure there's a lot of proud parents out there today. I'm sure many of you, this moment is something that's going to be remembered. Back in '95, my mother sat where you're sitting today. She has a memory about that day, but not quite a fond one. As I walked across the stage to get my diploma, they announced my name, Kristin Armstrong, and her major, exercise science, to which my mother overheard the lady in front of her say, "That poor girl, what in the world is she ever going to do with that thing?" When my mother heard I had been asked to do this speech today, she tried to track that woman down. So if that lady who thought I would amount to anything is out there today, hello. And I tell you this story to remind all the parents out there to watch what you say, because my mom may be sitting next to you. And funny thing is, that lady that was sitting in front of my mom that day, she could have been right if I had decided to live my life in have-tos. Things might have turned out quite differently, in fact. And upon this point in your life, for most of you, your life has been a series of have-tos. I mean, come on, you have to go to school. You have to follow the dress code. You have to fit in with the other kids. You have to get a job. You have to find that someone special. And you have to get a good education. Have to, have to, have to. And I'm standing on this stage today to let you know, from this point on, you get to. And I didn't know that when I was sitting where you are today. I was still in that world of have-tos. And believe it or not, I wasn't a big-time athlete here at the U of I. I was on the track team for 1 year, quit. I had been an athlete all my life. And when I came to the University of Idaho, I thought, I had to be on a sports team. I had to. And that's the thing about stuff you have to do. At the end of the day, it's never much fun. When you were little, you had to go to school, and I bet not many of you liked it. In India, there are children who have to walk to school 10 miles each way, and they love it because they get to go to school. In their reality, going to school isn't the law. It's a privilege. And when I graduated, I had to start looking for a job. After all, I didn't want that lady in front of my mom to be right. So I found one I had to take. You guessed it, I wasn't very happy. I did it for several years until I asked myself, what do I get to do? And that's when I started seriously training for competition. Soon after this, I was selected to be one of the first American women to train for and try to qualify for the first ever Olympic triathlon team. And if you're not familiar with the sport of triathlon, you swim, you get out of the water, you bike, and then afterwards you run. Yes, all back to back. And I know what each of you guys are thinking. I know. You're thinking, I'd rather be struck in the eye with a big stick than have to do that. And that's because for many of you, competing in a triathlon would be a big have to. For me, it was a get to. It's what I wanted to do, it's what I had a passion for, and this was the most exciting time in my life. I was going to be a part of a group of women who were about to make sports history, and I was super excited. Right up until that day in the doctor's office. That day is when everything changed in my life. I remember the doctor walked in, and the look on his face, he said, Kristin, you can continue to run now if you don't want to walk later. You've been diagnosed with arthritis in both hips. Everything that I had worked for came crashing down on me in an instant. My Olympic dreams were dead. But hey, I took it like a champ. I went home to my fiance, Joe, and bravely said, Joe, my life is over, kill me now. And it's great to have someone like Joe in your life at times like that. Did I cry? Oh yeah. Did I swear? You bet. Did I drown my sorrows in a gallon of Rocky Road ice cream? Mm-hmm. My life was just on the verge of turning into a have-to kind of life again, and I didn't like the thought of that. I mean, think about it. My love was running in the open air, swimming in the ocean, and cycling out in the open roads. And I was about to trade all that in for a cubicle, a suit, an annoying boss with a comb-over. Yes, I mean, for a very short time in my life, I moved into a have-to land. But I always thought, you know, the true test of a winner is not whether he or she can stand on their feet, but what they do after they've been knocked down. So I started thinking, I could get married, start a family, travel to exotic cities, for no other reason, just to have fun. I could get to. Then the most amazing thing happened. When I moved back into the get to universe, suddenly all sorts of possibilities flashed through my mind. I could be a personal trainer. I could start my own business. I could become a reality TV star. And then it hit me. Hey, you know, I can't run anymore, but why can't I still ride my bike? Cycling was way easier on my hips. It wasn't impactful. And with my revived get-to attitude, I started training harder than ever. 2-3 workouts a day wasn't unusual for me. And by the next Olympics in Athens, I was one of the members of the US road racing team. I was doing what I loved to do, and I was getting paid for it. And I hadn't lost anything in the doctor's office that day. In fact, I gained everything. By focusing on just cycling, instead of running and swimming, I was even better than before. I went to Athens, and well, I came in 8th. I didn't win, and now most people, they would have been disappointed with that. But no, not me. I was really, really disappointed. You know, the Summer Olympics only comes around every 4 years. And if I wanted to try to do this again, I would have to put in another 4 years of hard training, waking up on those cold Idaho mornings, riding my bike, and at least need 5 more cases of Bengay and several cases of hand warmers. I could have looked at it that way, but I also chose to look at it as a get-to. I get to do what I love for another 4 years. More fired up than ever, 1 year later, in 2006, I won the World Championships. 2008, with the national anthem echoing off the Great Wall of China, I stood on top of the podium and watched them raise the American flag over the streets of Beijing, and I realized I got to. I rode 1 more year after the Beijing Olympic Games and won another World Championship. Following the Worlds, I decided to retire last September. No longer will I get to ride in competition or hear the cheer of the crowds, but my fiance turned husband Joe and I are pleased to announce that in September we're expecting the birth of our first child. And now I get to be a mommy. I get to buy thousands of dollars of diapers. I get to get 2 hours of sleep a night. And I get to have baby dribble all over my clothes. I get to. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Because I also get to see his first smile, watch him take his first steps, and listen to him say, "I love you, Mommy." And I'm telling you, that's worth all the gold medals in the world. So, what about you? You're standing on the precipice of the rest of your life. Are you going to live a life of have-tos? Or are you going to live a life of get-tos? It's your decision. But before you decide, I hope that you now realize that living a life of get-tos is a lot more fun. You don't have to go to work. You get to go to work. You don't have to pay your mortgage. You get to pay your mortgage. You don't have to stay up with a sick child until 3 in the morning. You get to. Because all those get-tos mean that you have a job in this tough economy. Not everyone does. You have a warm home to call your own. Not everyone does. You have a child to love and hug and cherish. Not everyone does. Living a get-to life is not about winning a gold medal or being a CAO or even being on a show with Kim Kardashian. It's all about your attitude. And by changing your attitude to a get-to kind of attitude, you will find that you will be more happy, the people around you will be more happy, and more exciting opportunities will come your way. So now I hope you've enjoyed your time here at the university. This is a great school with great opportunities. And I hope you look back here on your time fondly and remember that you got to learn new and exciting things, that you got to meet new friends, and you got to sponge off your parents for 4 years. I mean, was college a struggle that you had to do? Or was it an adventure that you got to do? How you answer that question will affect how you remember your time here at the university. So I want to leave you with this thought. Never give up on your dreams. Always keep the things you're passionate about in your life. View life as an adventure, never as a struggle. So my time is up here now, and I have to go. Wait a minute, no, I don't have to. I get to. I get to wish each and every one of you the best of luck with your future, the greatest time in your life, and the joy of living into your get-tos. And I hope later today, you will come up and introduce yourself so I get to know each of you personally. Congratulations to the class of 2010.
I'd like to ask Kristin to come back up here to the podium, and I have a small gift to present to her, and thank her again for being our outstanding commencement speaker here for 2010. I would like now to invite Provost